There it is, guys. That's a good sign. Japanese writing. Lots of bubble wrap. That's another good sign. Ooh, double wrapped. I like this guy. So there it is. The Sony 35mm f1.4. A Minolta rebranded lens. Probably has some new coatings on it, but the design is going to be Minolta design. So I have been dying to get my hands on one of these for years. Too cheap to buy myself one until now. So it has finally happened, and let's give this thing a workout, a full review, and lots of samples. Apparently Japanese comics are even less funny than ours. For me, the 35mm approximates my field of vision much more than a 50mm. They say 50mm is a standard person's view. I've always felt that seems a little tight to me. I have a nice wide view with my eyes, and the 35 for me approximates that much more closely. This, to me, is the perfect travel lens. It'll do portraiture, it'll do architecture, it'll do street shooting, it'll do cityscapes, anything you can think of, low light, and it's very small and compact. So for me, it makes the perfect travel companion. So why do a review of a 10-year-old lens? Well, because there's not a lot of places that you're going to get image samples cropped into 100% and video samples, and that's why I do the reviews that I do. This lens, for those of you that are only going to watch 2 minutes of the video, which seems to be the average, just go ahead and buy that thing. It's awesome. It's very important when you get a new lens to... Oh, you've got some chocolate on your lens cap. Let me get that for you. I'm breathing, not sniffing. Never sniff a new lens, especially a used one. You don't know where it's been. I think I know where this one's been. Eat, sleep, breathe the new lens. Become one with the lens. So over the course of the next week, guys, we're going to take this lens and we're going to shoot with it. We're going to video with it. We are going to get dirty with it. What do you mean you're not weather sealed? No! I don't endorse showering with a new lens because now my wife has questions and I don't have any answers. So there you go, guys. I just tricked you the last 2 minutes. Anything with me wearing a white shirt was actually filmed on the Sony A99, which we're doing right now, using the new Sony 35G lens at f1.4. So every time I was waving a camera around, it was our stunt double. It's the Sony A77 II with the 50 1.4 lens on it. So I tricked you. Go back, watch the first 2 minutes of this video again if you want to see some low light samples with this lens. And we're going to go ahead now and get into photo samples. And you guys just thought I was being stupid for the sake of being stupid. Well, maybe I was. I don't know. Never showered with a lens before. Okay, so here we've got a couple examples. I've shot using a tripod, f1.4 and f8, so we can compare. This is just through my window. Actually, it's raining and sleeting and snowing out today. So this is my front yard, and this is shot at f1.4. And if we click the next image here, this is shot at f8. So we're going to zoom in and look at these 100%. I do want to mention we are focused to infinity here, so the trees at the back, probably from this tree right here on, everything is in focus. So let's look at the f1.4, and we'll look down here in this corner at the eaves trough, and people would say that this is a soft image, it's not very sharp. Well, that's foreground bokeh is what that is. There's a long distance between out here, what is in focus, and in here, we're probably talking 70 feet, 80 feet, and this is actually bokeh. So it's not a soft image per se. If you want to test the image at 1.4, you've got to go to where we're in focus and zoom in. There's 300% at f1.4, and we can see a nice crisp edge on this tree here and these rocks. So at f1.4, the image is actually fairly sharp. And we're really pixel peeping there because there's 100%. So is it as sharp as f8? Nope. Let's take a look at f8. So here's f8, that's 200%, 300%. Much sharper, but I mean, you're really zoomed in there. So if we go to 100% on each image, kind of line them up, we can get an idea. If you look back here at the recycling bins, that's f1.4, that's f8. So it is quite a bit crisper with the f8, but for shooting at f1.4, that's not bad. You're not going to shoot landscapes at f1.4. That's not what we bought the lens for. You just wouldn't do that. Here we have the famous Blue Teddy. I just wanted to show you guys the color rendition of this lens. I want to mention as well, none of these have been sharpened, color corrected, nothing. These are straight out of the camera. So you'll notice the teddy bear is quite dirty. That's because he's my daughter's favorite, and he doesn't get washed or taken care of. He gets loved, but so f1.4, focusing on the eyes. There's 100%, guys. That's very good detail. You can see individual little threads in here. Nice bokeh melting away, and the colors are nice, warm, Minolta type colors. Here we have our lens flare tests, guys. These are extreme. This is a 1,000,000 gigawatt light here on my forehead. So we're not testing sharpness here. I couldn't get, at f1.4, I couldn't get myself in complete sharpness every image. I just wanted to show what the light would do across the lens. So I've taken a few shots here. These are extreme cases. You wouldn't be shooting somebody or something with that much light anyway. But we can see there are a couple flare spots that come up. But overall, it is not bad. Having that much light pointed directly at the lens, you see a little bit down here, but overall I would say that's a very good rating on this lens. Very good. The dreaded bookshelf test, okay, f1.4 versus f8. Let's go in here to 100%. So we can still read all of these. Big Bang, Complete 7th Series. It is a little bit soft. We might not have been exactly lined up, but it seems to be the same throughout the image. Even down in the corners, we can still read. There's f8. Let's see how it looks, and it should be nice. Much better. Totally acceptable. Down in the corners, nice and sharp right across the frame. A couple more examples just to show bokeh of this lens. It does, at f1.4, melt out the background very nicely. You can see in both of these images, these are just, you know, my daughter's dresser. So, and if we zoom in here to 100%, there is actually a lot of detail here. This lens will focus down to 9 inches. So when you're close, you know, 2 feet or less, there is a lot of detail that does get captured by the lens. So it is very nice. Shooting at f1.4, this is what you're doing. You're isolating a subject. And there's only a few inches behind to these other toys here. And they're quite blurred out. They're quite separated. So that's what you want to use an f1.4 lens for. And here's another example. Let's check the detail on Darth. You can actually see the individual lines. This is like a holographic cup, so it has lines all through it. You can see them on his shoulder here. There's 400% zoomed in, so we are resolving quite a bit of detail. And the background is really nicely blurred out on that one as well. So there you have it, guys, my first impressions of the lens. It is fantastic. The lens is everything I hoped it would be. It's an amazing lens for the price. Does it resolve in a huge amount of detail like the Zeiss version? No, but it has a rendering quality that only one other lens in my collection has, and that's the underrated Sony 70-300G. That lens renders background bokeh like nothing else I have in my collection, and I have almost 40 lenses. It's a rendering quality that you can't get anywhere else. So if you have a chance to grab this lens at a good price, guys, and you're looking for a 35mm that's very versatile, will cover a lot of different types of photography, the Sony G35 f1.4 is an excellent option. Thanks for watching. Ouch!